I'm your host, Fred Net Live, and this is a segment. I have here with me this evening the second round pick in the 1998 NBA Draft, Ansu Sesay.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
First off, I really appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to join me on the show tonight.
Yes, sir.
And let's get this thing going.
Let's get it.
First and foremost, I know you're from. Just talk about your childhood growing up in Greensboro, North Carolina, and then transition to, of course, Houston, Texas.
It was a very short time there in Greensboro. I was born there, obviously in '76, and we probably moved away when I was a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a whole lot of memories of it. But I was, basically raised in Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Been there my whole life. High school. Those where my roots are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you were a part of AAU and things like that coming up.
Yes, sir.
When did you realize, of course, that like I think I'm pretty good at this basketball thing?
Man, AAU. Because I can tell you my high school team, I got a chance to see a lot. I went to Willow Ridge High School out of Houston, Texas. State championship my sewing year.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other guys went there following me, like a TJ Ford, UT guy, Daniel Ewing. I went to Duke and ended up playing, real pro basketball as well. So I have a high school with a little basketball history as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a chance to see some early things from other older guys, and I picked up a whole lot of things. But playing AAU itself, getting a chance to play against other guys around the country
Mm-hmm.
that are probably ranked, a lot higher.
Right. But I know they put an extra chip on your shoulder.
Always did.
Yeah, to go out and prove yourself.
I always did, because they didn't, being from Texas, football state.
Yeah.
Back in the '90s, nobody showed Texas any basketball love. So AAU was a perfect source. Was a perfect source of me.
Mm-hmm. I know, of course, you ultimately ended up choosing Ole Miss for your college basketball career. Did you have any other offers coming out?
I ended up signing early. I can tell you that. I had a whole lot of people trying to get me to decommit and things like that, though.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that. but
could you name any of those programs?
I don't want to go. I don't want to go into that. But before I actually, I only went on 2 visits.
Yeah.
And I went on an unofficial, actually, to Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Ole Miss on an official. I went to I went to California, Santa Barbara on a visit. Those are the 2 schools I went on official visits for.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up getting food poisoning on my visit to UCSB.
Really? What'd you eat?
Man, a whole lot of seafood. My favorite. A whole lot of seafood, my favorite, and ended up getting sick. And I didn't enjoy the visit at all. But it was a beautiful place. I can tell you that. But Ole Miss ended up being the place for me. Coach Rob Evans, who's still my mentor to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that Ole Miss. The ideas of Ole Miss from the beginning was kind of slowed my process of actually wanting to come here from the beginning.
Yes.
But I got a chance to visit this place. I got on my visit and liked it a little bit as far as the fan base.
Yes.
Even at the time the team was kind of dormant, but they still had a strong fan base.
Right.
Still had a strong fan base.
Right. And I know you said that.
Strange.
Of course, I know you said that Rob Evans is still your, of course, mentor to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a bit more about the. Did you know him? Did you know him at the time, or you got to know him as of course Ole Miss was recruiting you, and also just talk about of course the dynamics of being an African American male in Mississippi in the early '90s, coming to Ole Miss to play, of course to play basketball, and of course. How does that, of course, differ from today with you coming back?
Okay. Well, during that recruiting process, of course, the head coach is not usually the guy who makes first contact with you. So Rob Barnes, who's now at Bakersfield, and Russ Pennell, who was just formerly at Where is he just at with Anthony Boone? Arkansas, Central Arkansas, I'm sorry, at UCA. Those two guys ended up seeing me playing in Nebraska, in Carnegie. I still remember to this day, in the tournament at Carnegie, Nebraska. That's just a, just the rolling the dice going out there to play basketball.
Yeah.
And, and ended up being a situation where the school that I ended up going to, that's where saw me. And from that point, from all that big time, Vegas and things like that, they started following me around. I saw the same group of guys. And, once they actually thought I could play, I guess, here comes Coach Evans. And, from day one, from me meeting him and things like that, I looked at him as a father figure right away. Because he just, it was just the whole, his whole charisma with everything. Coaching is okay. You know what I'm saying? That's something that a whole lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think, but when you take it to another aspect where you can actually lead a guy into being a man, it's two different things.
Very different.
It's two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like being a leader is not the same thing as being. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? It's two different things.
Definitely,
yes, sir.
Definitely two different things.
Yes.
When did, of course, give me your most memorable moment at Ole Miss. Of course, you and Rob Evans became pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
I know the team that you were on, the teams that you were on, you guys went from winning 3 games your first year here to winning back-to-back SEC West titles, and you winning, of course, SEC Player of the Year.
Yes.
So so I know you have a lot of accolades in that aspect. So talk about your most memorable moment.
Well, I could tell you there was a moment in my freshman year when first couple weeks actually, I got, I was a young kid. I wanted to be around the older guys, right from the beginning, like Irvin Garnes, Cedric Grimm, those type of guys, and there was an older guy there that was back just staying in school, trying to graduate. Didn't graduate through his last semester at Ole Miss as an athlete, but as a former athlete, he was still trying to get his graduation done. But his name was Gerald Evans, and he was still part of the guys, still playing in every practice. He was helping out with the team and stuff like that. So we were playing pickup one day, and I was a freshman, so he used to pick on me, and I, which was okay with me. I was tough enough to take it.
Right.
But we ended up playing pickup. There was a lot of noise being talked and things like that, saying I wasn't going to do this and I wasn't going to do that, and I ended up dunking on him. Which was.
And this was pickup. Was this like in the basketball practice facility, or were you guys like out in the public?
No, we were out at Oxford High.
Okay.
We used to play pickup at Oxford High at that time. We didn't get a whole lot of access, the TAD pad at the beginning during that time. I think they were probably fixing something. There was something going on with the floor or something like that.
It's odd because you would think that collegiate players would have access to
playing
ball whenever they wanted to play ball.
Whenever they wanted to play ball, right? Exactly. Right. No, but that was one of my most memorable moments. That kind of let me know that I could actually play in his league, because he was like one of the top shot blockers in the SEC. His senior year.
Right.
And for me to, everybody was looking like I did something too, and I kind of tried, I had to play it off, look real cool. And stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And after that happened, when did you know you were NBA ready?
Oh man, I can tell you that that summer going into my senior year.
Did something happen? Like
I got to spend a lot of time playing on a USA team.
Okay.
With a bunch of guys that were going to be like a Bryce Drew, guys that ended up playing in the NBA as well. He
was actually the 16th pick, I believe, in the 98 draft.
Exactly. I played on the USA team, and we traveled to Canada, played against Team Canada. We also went to Sicily, Italy, playing the university games. Got a chance to play against a lot of top guys all over the world, and you know, I got some pretty good playing time and some real good feedback at that time from professional people and stuff like that. And, like, you know, coach, and it first got to Coach Evans. You know, that's how it goes. You know, they always get the information to the coach, and the coach relays it back. And that, I mean, it was a hell of a confidence booster playing with those guys, practicing with those guys, you know, for 2 months straight, basically. You know, traveling around and knowing that I could actually compete at that level. That's when I knew that I could play professional ball.
Right. Well, yeah, Ansu, you know, of course, you were drafted by the Mavs back in, of course, 1998, the 30th pick. And at that time, I'm not an expert in any of this, guys, just so you know, but the rookie wage scale for your pick was about $440K, $440,000. In comparison to right now, of course, with that same pick, it's $1.6 million dollars. So, what is your what do you think about just that as a whole? And of course, at that time, David Stern was the commissioner of the NBA. RIP David Stern.
Yes, sir.
He was commissioner of the NBA, and of course, you know, he made drastic changes throughout. Of course, a lot of guys said he was a visionary. He was a visionary of the game. And so, just tell me about what your thought process just about just those numbers as a whole.
Well, I can tell you this: he's a big reason for all of that. I can tell you because he brought a lot of things to the NBA. He brought it worldwide. Or put it on TV. Put it on more channels on TV. Put more teams on TV.
Right.
That's where basically a lot of that revenues come from to make those contracts. Inflate like that, and I just wish I was a part of it.
Right.
You know?
Right. And of course, in the same year you were drafted, Vince Carter, who's still playing today.
Yes, sir.
He went number 5 overall. Dirk Nowitzki, he went number 10 overall. He was actually drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yes.
For people that don't know that out there, he was drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks, and also at the number 9 pick, not the number 10 pick, Paul Pierce was picked up at number 10 by the actual Celtics. And of course, you said Bryce Drew that same year was picked up by the Rockets.
By the Rockets.
And number 16. Let me ask you this: is there anyone in that draft, of course, that you felt like once they were taken, you were like, man, I think I'm better than that guy?
Man, you know, that was probably one of the deepest drafts of all time. And I can see, like, literally all time. There are a lot of really good players that came out of that draft, and you know, as bad as I want to say that, I feel like I'm right there, but I feel like we were all even, and it just was who they wanted to pick. You know, I definitely wish I was a lot higher, because in competition wise, I mean, I held my own.
Right.
But that's just part of it. You know, that's just part of it, how everything fell. There's a lot of young guys that came out of that draft. And till this day, the guys that are making decisions they're taking youth. They're taking youth over a lot more things now. So. Right,
and of course that's how a guy like, of course, Vince Carter, longevity. He's been in 20 plus years.
Exactly.
And he's still, of course, he's been reinventing himself every season.
He's done it. I don't think anybody can do it. I mean, last as long as he has athletically as being a athletic player.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like shooters, I mean, can always. That's a different thing.
Right.
Like he's still moving around.
He came in as a scorer, as a dunker.
As a dunker. Yeah.
A slasher.
A slasher. Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you were really young being drafted. You were really young, 22 years old. Of course, and making that kind of money, I guess at that time, $400,000 was a lot, if you will. It was a lot. So how were
it was.
Right. So just talk about how were the family dynamics when it came to that? Like did your peers all of a sudden think you were like this multimillionaire that everyone could come to for anything?
Of course, that's just part of it. I think that every athlete, anybody that falls into a little bit amount of money, and people know about it. It's basically like winning the lottery. Everybody's gonna know you won it. You know, so people are came out of the woodworks, but you know, I was always the kind of person that just kind of relied on my close knit, you know, my close knit guys, my little circle, you know, my small little circle, and always kept it that way.
Great. Also talk about the oh my goodness, just the process of finding an agent or financial advisor and being that young and just having to rely on someone else to help you, of course, manage your finances and
well, like what I did, I relied on my AAU coach. My AAU coach basically surrounded me with a couple people, with a couple guys that he knew from his childhood, that he trusted. Yeah, that, you know, basically let his one of his best players
right.
that he's had for so long that he's directing me. You know, he just didn't want to hand me off to anyone. Most people kind of just try to go with whatever firm they work with type of deal. But sometimes it doesn't work. You know, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. You know?
Yeah. It just I guess it all depends. Well, it just goes along with the process and the business.
Yes.
And and also one of the last things, the younger generation doesn't know that you are of course you a lefty.
Yeah.
You were a lefty, pull-up game, strong, you know, dunking on guys, things like that.
Yeah.
Talk about, of course, and you were number 5 in college. Did you have a favorite left-handed player growing up?
Jalen Rose, from Michigan when he played at the University of Michigan.
Oh yeah, Fab Five.
Till the day he retired, he was one of my favorite players with that number 5, and I kind of played with the same type of attitude, I had a ball head, you know, all the same old deal. You know what I mean? I had the same deal going. Kind of inspired me a whole lot because we were, you know, basically the same height, you know, basically the same 6'9", same height and everything.
6'9" handle. Okay, so that's great. And lastly, I want to talk about you recently completed your college. You got your college degree at the University of Mississippi. Just talk about that process and how did it feel? Just I guess being able to get that burden lifted off your shoulders coming back.
Man, that was great. You know, actually, it meant a lot. It meant a lot to me actually coming back and getting it done too. Coming back to the University of Mississippi and getting it done. I got a chance to see, you know, got a chance to reunite with a lot of my old contacts as well. Did a lot more good than anything, I can tell you that. You know, so that's why I'm still here. You know, working with these guys at the University of Mississippi with the basketball squad and everything.
All right, Ansu. Finally, I know you have, of course, you're on the coaching staff at Ole Miss. Talk about what are your ultimate goals? What are your ultimate goals? I know you just completed your degree.
Yes.
There, and so just talk about your goals.
Completing my degree was actually one of the qualifications for me to be a college basketball coach, and that's one of my, you know, I'm right there. You know what I mean? That's my dream right there. I'm right there.
Do you have any words of inspiration for the next Ansu Sesay coming up, grinding to fulfill their dream?
Man, there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of kids out there that are, you know, that are right there, that actually have the physical talent, you know, but just you know, I try to shower them a little bit on, you know, on Twitter and you know, and things like that with a little positivity and things on how your mindset, you know, your mindset has to be to actually play at a high level. You know, if you have those aspirations, you got to really put in the work. Because anybody can talk about it. I know a lot of people that actually talk about it all over the country. But there's a select few guys that actually separate themselves by their work. That's how you separate yourself.
All right, Ansu, man, I really appreciate you, of course, joining me here tonight, man. And good luck with everything in the future.
Yes, sir.
And that is it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, man. I'm your host for Internet Live. Thank you guys for watching. This is the segment.
1 time for the underdog, 2 time for the struggle, 3 time for the pain, 1 time for the underdog.